Where do you think the market is heading in the next 5, 10 years? Because there's a lot of news going about. People are saying the market is going to crash and something like that. Do you see that happening here in Dubai?
The crash doesn't happen all of a sudden overnight. After every bull run, there comes a period of struggle. We could enter a struggle period for next 4 to 5 years, but that doesn't say that the recession is coming. The common mistakes what first-time investors do, they don't check the track record of a developer. They sometimes don't check the location too carefully.
So you've been in the market for over 12 years. Can you tell us how the market has evolved during that time?
See, when I started in the beginning, it was all about off-plan investments and a lot of speculative buying. But then now, I can see the way market has grown up. So there are less risk now compared to the risks which were there in the 2013.
Welcome. Thank you so much for making the time to come here today. Honestly, it's been a while.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to see you here.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, let's get into it. Himanshu, how long have you been in real estate here in Dubai?
I started real estate in 2013.
Yeah.
It's been like 12 years in the market now.
Oh, 12 years. So you've been in the market for over 12 years. Can you tell us how the market has evolved during that time?
See, when I started in the beginning, it was all about off-plan investments and a lot of speculative buying. But then now, I can see the way market has grown up in a good mature way.
Yeah.
Plus, it has been more stable as well.
Yeah.
With the reforms being made and the good legal framework being made around it. So there are less risk now compared to the risks which were there in the 2013.
That is true. That is true. Especially with offline back in the day, they weren't very strict in terms of like escrows and the laws where investors weren't protected back in the time.
There were many gray areas before, and then now all those gray areas have been covered slowly and gradually. Yes.
That's good news for investors for sure. That's good news for investors. And what initially drew you to real estate, and how has your market perspective changed over the last couple of years?
The dynamic nature of the real estate has brought my attention towards it. The challenges which we face every day and the new opportunities what it gives, plus the new people which we meet every day. And I can make a tangible growth into an individual when they buy a home or office or any investments.
Yeah.
So that personal touch towards anyone's personal growth brought me into it. Secondly, you can write your own check.
Yeah.
At any day of the week.
That is true.
We don't have to wait for the month end for the salaries and all that.
Yeah,
plus the time flexibility.
That's true. Yeah.
And yes, I've grown along the path past 12 years.
Yeah.
It used to be purely a closing of sale before.
Yeah.
But now after learning the cycles of the market and what investors looks for, so we have also, been a part of the growth.
Yeah.
And then our work patterns also change. Yes.
Yeah. To be fair, I've only started like 2 years ago, in real estate. And compared to you, you've been in the market way longer, but definitely for sure, one of the big attractions about being a broker is that no day is the same. Every day is different. You meet different types of people. Even when it comes to pitching a client a particular product, you need to make sure that you pitch a product that makes sense for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely one of the attractions for being a broker.
Every real estate broker, I must say, who has been in the market for such long, their vision will change from short term to long term. Along that, they build their own assets as well.
Yeah.
And then they start realizing how the investor thinks.
Yeah.
Because when you put your shoes into
an investor's shoes, you kind of know basically, and you want to make sure basically the product that you're giving them works for them basically. You don't want to waste their money or lose their trust along the process.
Sometimes we get so connected to our clients that we start feeling the pain as well. So my approach has changed towards being more long-term vision. Rather keep a very short-term.
You don't focus on just closing a deal for the sake of it. You want to build that relationship over a certain period of time.
We should look for the long-term gains, and we should look for what value it is adding to an individual asset.
Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. And what do you think are the biggest trends you're seeing in Dubai real estate market right now?
See, with the speed what Dubai is growing, the next 3 areas which are very important to see is the sustainable cities, what they're coming up with.
Yeah, they're trying to
smart
promote
cities
that.
they're coming up with.
Yeah.
The green buildings is going to be the next growth wave. This is what I see.
True. True. And in terms of sustainability, I see like the government also, they're making a lot of effort towards this.
Yes.
They're trying to push this, especially if you look at the expo area, especially. They're honestly trying to push that a lot, especially
Yeah.
now. They see that the future now is being more sustainable.
DIWA has been promoting to put solar panels on individual townhouses and villas as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
I've seen many villas and townhouses have solar panels on their roof,
Mm,
on their big terraces.
that's
When a
interesting.
person
Yeah.
says me that Himanshu, this terrace is of no use,
Mm,
then I'll tell him
mm,
that you put a solar panel and you start saving money.
mm.
DIWA is promoting it.
That's a good way to,
Yes.
to look at things. Wow.
Why we should
Yeah.
think the space is waste? It can add value
Can
to
add
your.
value to you
Yes.
basically, as whether it's you're using the property for personal use or you're renting it out to a tenant. It
and
can be a
you-
good attraction basically.
And there are companies who are selling the solar panels and the whole equipment on monthly installments. You don't have to pay heavily in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
Which
this-
will allow you basically to save money and save
Yes.
bills basically.
So
Okay.
this is just a support from the government.
That's good to know. And do you think that buyer preferences have changed in the last few years?
Yes, I can definitely say that the buyers
How
have
so?
evolved a big time now. They're more focusing on the space. They want good amenities around the area. They are also looking for sustainable projects.
Options, yeah.
Yes. Initially, they used to come with the unexpected demands and unexpected returns. If I say 10 years, 12 years before, but
Yeah.
now they are demanding more luxury as well. At the same time, more space. They want space for the kids and they want good surroundings around them with good amenities and the time to enjoy outdoor times.
Yeah. And you mentioned something about space. I'm sure you noticed this, but most of the older buildings, they're very small in sizes. Do you see developers, creating projects or, giving products where the spaces are bigger, or do you see the same old
No, there are
sizes?
still developers which are giving good sizes
Yeah.
to the investors or to the end users.
Yeah.
I can say Nakheel Dubai Properties is one of them,
Yeah.
which they still believe in giving good sizes.
That is true. That is true.
If someone is looking for massive sizes, then they should look for older projects. Because in the projects which were developed 10, 15 years before,
Yeah.
their square feet for one bedroom, for example, were in range of 900,000 square feet or 1100 square feet for one bedroom.
Yeah.
But now the new developments are coming up with 2 bedrooms in the same size.
Yeah.
So if someone is looking for size, they should go for little older projects.
And then they can buy and renovate it if they want to.
Yes, so you can personalize your space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So space cannot be increased in the future, but the beautification can be done anytime.
That's actually a good advice there for buyers out there who are looking for space, who appreciate more space. That's the way to go about it. Okay, and where do you think the market is heading in the next 5-10 years? Because there's a lot of news going about. People are saying, "Oh, the market is going to crash" and something like that. Do you see that happening here in Dubai?
See, the crash doesn't happen all of a sudden overnight. After every bull run, there comes a period of struggle.
Yeah.
We could enter a struggle period for next 4 to 5 years,
Yeah.
but that doesn't say that the recession is coming.
Mm.
Recession will come only with a very unexpected reason, with a very unexpected timings.
Yeah.
The toughest thing in the real estate market is to time well.
Yeah.
The person who has timed it well will always be in gains.
Yeah.
And the person who has timed it wrongly should either keep patience during the downturns,
Yeah.
or he should wait for the long term, so that the market can be better in the future if
Yeah.
it has gone down, and then keep it on rent if
Of course,
it's
even-
investor.
Yeah, of course, even what you're saying as well makes total sense. And on top of that, I'm also going to add and say that if you look at like the market right now in terms of population, people moving to Dubai, the number is increasing every year. As we see, the demand of properties is increasing every year. So to say that the market is actually going to crash, to me, I don't see it happening unless you show me proof. Where do you get your source from? So when you're dealing with buyers, in your opinion, when they say, "Oh, we think the market is going to correct itself or it's going to crash," do you ask them like, where do you get these news and stuff like that?
I'll tell you a real time example.
Yeah.
In 2021, when we were just 2 years out from COVID,
Yeah.
the clients used to say me that, "Himanshu, crisis is coming, crisis is coming."
Yeah.
I used to tell them, will you be happy if someone in your relation comes out of an ICU from a hospital and you tell them to go back to the ICU after 2 years? So why are you praying bad for your own market? The market has just come out from an ICU
Mm.
and you're praying that the market should go back into the ICU after 2 years.
Mm.
So you're praying wrong for yourself. Because if the market will crash so soon,
Mm.
in just 2 years' time,
Yeah.
then you won't be in a situation even to buy a house. Because might be your income is affected. You might not get a bank loan at that time.
Income's
Because then
affected, mortgage is
the market
affected.
is
Yeah.
broken very badly.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you are praying for a market to fall down in 2 years of crisis,
Mm.
then something is wrong with your own thoughts.
That's
So don't pray bad for your economy.
yeah.
Economy is a heartbeat,
Yeah.
right? So if you're praying bad for your heart,
Yeah.
so you're praying bad for you also.
That
You are
is
in
true.
position to buy the house
Mm.
because you are good to do with your income.
Yeah.
Now, if the recession will come immediately after 2 years, definitely the market will crash so badly that you will won't be able to buy the house even.
Yeah. I think the thing with people is that the reason why they're asking this or they're thinking that, oh, the market is going to crash is because I'm sure you know this, but during a recession, that's where the most money is made. You buy because most of the property prices are low.
Yeah.
So people are always, looking for that basically.
They always
And
try to
they're
find reason
correct.
to buy it cheap,
Correct. Correct.
but we should respect the timings.
Correct. And
Everything has a frequency of its own.
true.
We should respect the frequency.
True, and unfortunately, right now, we're at a time whereby that's just not going to happen at the moment. Like you can find distress deals here and there, but they're very few and far in between because now people have the cash to get through, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think are the common mistakes investors make when entering the Dubai real estate market, and how can they avoid them? Any tips you can give them?
The common mistakes what first-time investors do,
Mm,
they don't check the track record of a developer.
mm,
They sometimes don't check the location too carefully.
yeah.
Okay. Some locations are like that for which you have to wait for a few years to develop.
Mm,
It will not develop all of a sudden.
yeah. So
Example, the Mac Hills 2.
yeah.
It was an underrated project 3-4 years back.
Yeah.
But now there are more than 15,000 families living there.
Mm,
So if someone have entered into the market in 2021,
yeah.
they have gained very well because they chosen an underrated project.
Mm,
But if the investors who has invested the money in 2017 in
Yeah.
the same project,
yeah.
right now they are at par because the prices have just reached the OP. So you have to be very careful about the timings.
Yeah.
Don't overexpose yourself in terms of your cash flows
Mm,
because if the crisis comes in between,
mm,
you might have to sell at a lower rate.
mm,
But if you have not overexposed yourself,
mm.
you can sustain the downturn and wait for the market to recover.
And it's not market to recover like in whole of Dubai. It's just market to recover in that particular area,
Yes,
right?
I'm talking about the underrated projects.
Got it.
So
got it.
if you have chosen a location which is little far away or not yet grown properly or not yet mature,
Yeah.
you should wait. Keep your patience. Or otherwise,
If
you will
you're
be...
looking, if you're looking for like those big returns, quick returns, then you need to go to well-established communities.
Yes. If you're looking for quick returns, then you should choose the areas which are already mature enough and try to find a good deal over there.
That is true. That is true. And okay, I'm actually curious. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced working in the Dubai real estate market, and how did you overcome them?
That's a tough question,
Yeah.
but it's very easy to answer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually curious to know. That's why.
although there are many challenges, but the biggest challenge is to navigate through the ups and downs of the market. It's very tough to time it. So if you have seen the market for such a long period, you know when the market will start to correct,
Yeah.
when the bottom will be hit, but only if you have survived for such long period. So that's one thing, to time the cycles. That's
Okay.
first challenge.
Yeah.
The second challenge is to give the right education to the first time investors, because the first time investors comes with very high unexpected demands. They feel like they can just buy something and get huge returns, which is not true. So you have to be giving them the right knowledge, the right insight. If you misguide them for the first time,
Yeah.
he will be always lost and he won't be able to make his first step. But if you give them a clear knowledge, a clear insight,
Yeah.
you assure them, okay, you are going to do the property management as well in the future.
Yeah.
Plus, this is the genuine returns what you are going to get. So
Yeah.
show them the right face.
Yeah.
Don't give them any unexpected, kind of returns.
Yeah, that is true. And I think one of the things that kind of makes it hard to educate investors, especially now, is that investors right now, they sport for options, they speak with multiple agents. So at the end of the day, they're overwhelmed with information and options. How do you kind of bring the investor back into, in your thinking? Like you get, okay, out of all the agents that I've spoken with, Himanshu makes the most sense. How do you kind of do that basically
See,
with investors?
for me, the key to success has been
Mm-hmm.
being knowledgeable,
Yeah.
being educated.
Yeah.
Even if that knowledge for someone could be just a waste of time,
Mm.
but for someone else, it could make much more sense. For example, just knowing a fact that what was the service charges for a building 5 years before, and what is the service charges of that same building now,
Mm.
it's kind of a percentage increase in the service charges.
Yeah.
If you don't know the background, it might change suddenly in the next 2 years, and then investors will scold you that you didn't told us that the service charges can be changed all of a sudden.
Mm.
So I know some buildings in which the service charges were changed from 12 dirhams to 19 dirhams in 2 years of time. I have those names, but I don't want to take those names in the video.
Mm.
But if I'll sell that apartment to an investor
Mm.
after knowing
You
that the
wouldn't.
service charges were drastically increased,
Wow.
so that's where the knowledge comes.
Is it legal to do that? Like to increase it
Now,
from 12
now
to
the Dubai Land Department has come up with a system called Molak.
19?
Now you can route your payments through Molak,
Yeah.
and Molak will send the payments to the developers,
Mm.
by which they are monitoring and trying to control where the excessive
Mm.
payments are being collected. It's just a small bit of an example,
Yeah.
but in the longer run, knowledge will always win.
And you just mentioned service charge. This year I read at College Times, they said that service charge is expected to rise this year up to 10%. Do you think that will affect people's thinking in terms of like buying a property, whether it's off plan already in certain buildings and in certain areas?
See, I can say that the service charges gets impacted
Mm.
drastically when the community is new
Mm.
and it's getting grown.
Mm.
So, for example, the first phase, which is handed over,
Yeah.
will bear the load of the whole community being developed at that point of time.
Mm.
But once all the phases are handed over, the burden of the whole project will go down, because now you are sharing your common areas expenses
Yeah.
with the bigger community, with the bigger ownership.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in the beginning, the service charges could be higher
Mm.
for a new project. But once the community is matured enough, up and living correctly,
Yeah.
precisely, then the service charges obviously tend to come down.
Also, one thing to notice is that compared to buildings, villas are more, in terms of service charge, you can save a lot more money on villas compared to buildings. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Post-COVID, we have seen two changes majorly.
Yeah.
One, the demand in the townhouses and villas has grown drastically.
Yeah.
Plus, once the investors came to know the difference in the service charges in the apartments are too high and
Compared to villas.
compared to the villas is less,
Yeah.
that was the second reason why investors had turned their monies towards townhouses and villas.
Yeah.
Plus, when people got locked up in the apartments,
Mm.
they found it's better to get locked in a townhouse with a garden rather than getting locked up in a balcony.
True.
So that's where the trend shifted.
Mm.
So due to that, the appreciation in the townhouses and villas, I can say, has
Mm.
become like 70-80% past 3-4 years.
Mm.
But in the apartments, the appreciation is not so quick.
Mm. Okay, so people now are moving to villas. However, the supply doesn't match the demand. But let's say the supply did match the demand. Do you think it will affect apartment demands later down the line?
See, there's a huge supply of apartments, I can say.
Mm.
So you have to be very, very careful when investing in the apartments.
Yeah.
You have to choose carefully the per square feet price and the location and the developer also.
Yeah.
Plus the amenities that what are there in the building.
Mm.
You have to be very picky in terms of apartments.
Yeah.
But when it comes to townhouses and villas,
Yeah.
they are getting sold very quickly in just in 2 to 3 days maximum of the launch.
Yeah.
But bigger mansions, bigger penthouses or big villas takes a bit of time, but they also get sold. Yes.
That is true. That is true. Now, this is for the viewers. I'm sure they want to know as well. Do you think there are any upcoming areas or developments in Dubai investors should be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, what I can see now, upcoming areas are Dubai South, Dubai Creek Harbor,
Yeah.
Mohammed bin Rashid Boulevard,
Mm.
Sheikh Zayed bin Hamdan Street is
Yeah.
going to be the good link road,
Sheikh Zayed. So one near downtown, although it's
which is
Wajadaf area and all of that.
next to the
Oh, okay.
Global Village,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that street. And plus the areas which are going to be in the front of Palm Jebel Ali. They
Mm.
are going to be new marina,
Yeah.
the projects like Jumeirah Lake Towers, and what we can see in front of Palm Jumeirah right now.
Yeah.
The projects like Marina, JLT, then behind is Meadows and Jumeirah Island, Jumeirah Park.
Mm.
So such kind of a belt is going to evolve in front of Palm Jebel Ali as well in the
Mm.
next 20-25 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So that area especially I feel is going to be upcoming.
It's going to be booming.
Yeah.
That is good to know. That is good to know. Well, viewers, you've heard it. Now, it's up to you how you go about it. But if you need any more information, feel free to reach out to us for sure. We'll be more than happy to help you with that. We're about to finish it, but we're going to finish it nicely, well, so that we leave here smiling. What excites you the most about the future of the Dubai real estate market?
See, the government here is very proactive.
Mm.
So any common problems what people are facing here,
Mm.
the government addresses to it very quickly.
Mm.
Okay. Especially making new roads, new connections from the RTA.
Mm.
We get very good support from that end.
Yeah.
Secondly, they are working on artificial intelligence as well.
Mm.
And they adapt to the demand of the new investors very quickly. So this is what excites me, that they are coming up with smart cities, smart projects, plus the visa reforms what they have made recently.
Yeah.
Even if you have not paid your property fully to 2 million, even if you're off plan property buyer or a mortgage buyer, you can still get your golden visa.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't need to shed out your whole 2 million to get that visa.
Yeah.
It's a huge, huge support from the government.
It makes a difference. It makes a
Yes.
difference. And to be fair, you make a very valid point. Even me, to be fair, personally, what I like about Dubai is that they're very forward thinking in the way they go about things. Like, even though Dubai right now is the best Dubai we've ever seen, to be fair, no country in the world comes close, in my opinion, but they're not satisfied. They're still finding ways to make it better.
Yes.
So that's definitely one thing to look out for new people who are planning to move here into Dubai. Dubai is honestly the place to be. And lastly, for a new investor, or let's say a seasoned investor, what do you think is the key to succeeding in this market?
See, it's very important to understand the macro level cycles. That's the very first thing I should say to the new investor to learn. That where are we standing on the cycle right now? Are we near the top? Are we in the middle of the boom cycle? Are we in the middle of the downturn?
Yeah.
Or are we at the bottom?
Where are we now at the moment?
I can say that market is going to enter into a struggle period for a few years because we have already seen a 6 years of bull run. So any bull run can sustain for 6 years and then you enter into a struggle zone, but that doesn't say that demand is going to go down.
It's more or less like a maturing phase, basically.
Yes, maturing phase. Plus the acceptance of the price. Okay? So it takes time for people to accept the price.
Yeah.
If you go back 2 years, if there was a person about to buy 2 years before, and for some reason he hasn't bought it, if he will come back today to buy something, it will be very, very tough for him to accept. But for the newcomer, he hasn't seen the past.
Yeah.
So for him to accept the price is much easier than a person who is there in the market from the long term to accept the price.
Yeah.
So it's all about the acceptance of the price. Newcomers can accept the price easily.
Yeah.
But then they should also see that they have to keep a horizon of at least 10 to 12 years of investment.
Yeah.
Because properties are such an asset class that will never give you a loss in the long term. But if you keep your vision short, you might enter into a profit, you might enter into a loss. My advice is to always have a long-term vision. If you are keeping a short-term vision, then you cannot sustain for long in every deal.
True. True. That's honestly, that's a good advice, to be honest. And I think that's also one of the challenges I sometimes have with my clients as well, is that they will give you a budget, but the budget they give you is for like 10, 15 years ago. You could get something then, but you can get something now.
Yeah.
So that's definitely very good advice. New and seasoned investors need to keep a lookout for. Well, Himanshu, that's it. That's it for today.
Thank you.
You've honestly
Thanks.
answered our questions, all of the questions well, and they were very informative, to be honest. I learned something, to be honest. I've been in the market, but I'm still learning, and I honestly learned something.
Even I'm learning till today.
Till today, yeah. You never
Yes.
stop learning in this
There
industry,
was-
to be fair.
Every person will teach you a different lesson,
Yeah,
plus your own experiences. Every day is a new day here.
that is true. That is true. Well, Himanshu, thank you so much for having
Yeah.
me. Honestly, hope we get to do this again later
Sure.
down the line.
Okay.
Before ending, I just wanted to take a moment to give a massive, massive shout out to Main Realty. Main Realty, for those of you who don't know, these are the new developers in town. They just recently launched their new project in Al Furjan and they sold out. They are only left with one unit of a 3-bedroom duplex. So for those of you who are interested, I'll leave my details in the description below. And yeah, these guys are cooking. They have some really, really good projects coming up. Of course, I can't say much because I don't think I'm allowed to, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted about them. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe in the, in my YouTube channel. I'm still new to this, so I'm trying to figure it out. But let me know in the comment section what other topics you guys would like me to cover in the future, and I'll be sure to basically create the videos centering around them. Thank you so much. Take care, and we'll talk soon. Ciao.